What's going on today, baby? Today we are about to make one of my favorite chicken sandwich. I call it a big, easy sandwich. It is a fried chicken, black pepper biscuit sandwich with red bean sauce. First thing we gotta do is we gotta make our buttermilk marinade. So I'm gonna take some of my Creole seasonings and add that to my buttermilk and give that a good old stir to make sure that everything is nice and incorporated. Look at that, see that? Evenly distributed. Now, unlike traditional chicken sandwiches, I like to use thighs. They have more flavor and they are least expensive. And then I mentioned that they have more flavor. All right, so go ahead on, put the chicken thighs into the buttermilk marinade, and you can do this for up to 4 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours. All right, don't do any more than 8 hours. Go ahead on, get you some saran wrap, cover it on up, and then pop that thing in the fridge for a few hours. The longer it sits, the more flavor it will take on. But if you got to do it quick, just go ahead on and do it quick. The flavor will still be amazing. Now, let's make our red bean sauce. So we're going to take a preheated pot, add a little bit of oil to that, and now I'm going to take some diced up turkey sausage. I did turkey sausage to make it a little bit lighter. If you are to use chicken or beef, you'll still need to add a little bit oil, but if you do some pork sausage, kielbasa or andouille, you don't need to add the oil because it'll have enough fat in the sausage. And all you want to do is cook that until it's slightly brown. All right, you're not trying to fry it, you're just trying to extract some flavor. All right, so after you do that, we'll put out a little bit of the sausage because we're going to do this in a couple of parts. All right, to get all that good brown sausage out of there. Look at that. You see that crispy bits? All of that flavor is now at the bottom of our pot. You can probably see it in the bottom of the pot. It's got some brown bits on it. Now we're going to go ahead on and add our trinity: onion, celery, and bell pepper. We're just going to cook that for about 3 minutes until it picks up all of that wonderful flavor, all right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of that out because we're going to use that later. Then we're going to add some garlic, bay leaves, some thyme, some salt, black pepper, oregano, cumin, some dried thyme, and a little bit of cayenne. All right, all of that's gonna go in, and then we're gonna give that a good mix. This is also a good fast, like 15-minute red bean recipe too, if you need one. And so then we're gonna add our dark red beans that's been drained, some chicken stock, and some Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce. I love Worcestershire sauce. It just adds so much depth of flavor to anything that you put it with. All right, so give that a good old stir, add your sausage back into it, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to bring this mixture up to a boil and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, something like that, right? Once you get a good boil going, this is amazing. You see that? So after taking a phone call or something, I let it cook down too much, but no harm done. All right, just add a little bit more stock there. Take out your dried thyme and your bay leaf, and then with a food blender or a stick blender, also called immersion blender, go ahead on and just pulse it. All right, if you notice that your mixture isn't moving fast enough, just add a little bit more stock to it until you get a nice sauce consistency. All right, you see that? Look at that. A few minutes later, beautiful. Oh yeah, baby, that's gonna be good. All right, now let's make our biscuits. So we're gonna add some salt, baking soda, some sugar, some baking powder, and some black pepper to some unbleached flour. Go ahead on and give that a stir to make sure it's nice and incorporated. And then we're gonna go ahead on and take some butter. I always find it easier to mix butter in once you slice it into tablespoons because I don't use the old pastry brush, not the pastry brush, the little pastry tool my grandma used to use. I use my fingers, and all I want to do is coat the butter with flour and then just press it down with my thumbs, in between my thumbs and my index, until I get this nice, beautiful, crumbly texture. Make a little center in the middle for our buttermilk. Go ahead on and put that deliciousness in there. I don't know what a biscuit is without buttermilk. I don't know. We don't do that in my life. Buttermilk biscuits are the truth. So go ahead on and give that a stir until the dough starts to form, all right? And you know your dough is good and formed after you finish stirring it. You can press it together with your hand and notice that the dough is starting to hold, all right? Go ahead on and lightly flour your board, roll out your dough. Your dough still will be crumbly. It will not still be together. That's why we have to knead it. We have to knead it to bring it all together. So I have a general rule that I only knead the biscuits about 5 to 6 times, all right? When I first started making biscuits, I used to do 10 times, but I found out the less amount of time that you actually needed, the more tender a biscuit you have. And also another secret is if you have the time, after you finish kneading and cutting out your biscuits, all you have to do is just pop this in the fridge overnight and let that fat solidify again. It'll give you a nice fluffier biscuit. All right, so we don't need no rolling pin. This is purely rustic. Go ahead on and just flatten it with your hand and then take the biggest biscuit cutter you have and make some biscuits, all right? This is a sandwich, all right? This ain't breakfast. This is a full course meal, all right? Take those scraps, re-knead it just a few times, 1 to 3 times, just until it comes back together. And then we're gonna take these biscuits, pop them on a foiled lined baking pan. You can use parchment if you want to. And then we're gonna brush the top with some butter, all right? Some melted butter. And then from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this into a 425-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, just depending on if your oven likes you that day or not, all right? Just keep an eye on it. So let's clean up and let's get to the next step. Now that our chicken's been marinating, it's time to fry some goodness, all right? Let's get this deliciousness going. We got some canola oil that I heated to about 365 degrees into some flour. I'm gonna add some Creole spices, some cayenne, and a little bit of garlic powder, all right? All those. You want to season. See, this is the important thing about fried chicken. You got to season your marinade and you got to season your flour because some of that seasoning will fall off as it fries. But you want the crust to be delicious. You want the chicken to be delicious. You don't want to short anybody, all right? Hold on, wait. I got too much stuff going on, all right? And also make sure you got a pan or a bowl that's lined with paper towels so that you can drain your chicken on. All right, now I got a 3 dredge technique, all right? I took the chicken thighs out because we're gonna put it in the flour, then the buttermilk, then in the flour, then back in the buttermilk, all right? So you dredge it evenly in the flour, give it a shake, then dredge it in the buttermilk. Take it back out, put it back in the flour, all right, and get it nice and even. And then you'll get these beautiful crusty clumps of deliciousness that's gonna add this beautiful crunch to it, all right? And then just go ahead on, submerge that into the oil. Cook it for about 8 minutes. Since we don't have a bone in it, it doesn't take that long to actually cook. And oh my goodness, this is the point where you play that music when the heavens open up. Look at how good that is. Can you see those little crinkly, crusty bits just hanging off of the chicken? Look at it, just dangling there, waiting to be devoured. Man, my mouth is watering as I'm talking about this. All right, now our biscuits are nice and done. Now let's go ahead on and put that on a plate and get the rest of these out the way, and let's make our sandwich. All right, this big easy sandwich is a full bite of New Orleans in one bite. All right, so you can see that crack right there, that's from the butter steam fluffing up that biscuit, all right? So it makes it easy to go ahead on and cut. Now you can put some butter on the bottom of this biscuit, you can put some honey, but I thought putting red beans on the bottom would make it too sloppy. So take your fried chicken, put it on the top, then go ahead on and just put as much red bean sauce as you want. And then you remember that Trinity that we took out earlier? Yeah, you remember that. Then we're gonna go ahead on and put that on the top. You can also do a little bit of green onions on it too if you want to. Some hot sauce, go ahead on and top it up. But that is how easy it is to make this big, easy chicken sandwich. Popeyes, whoop! You can find a recipe link down below. This is in my cookbook, Southern Creole. Go ahead on, hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment, and I will see y'all on the next recipe video. See y'all later, baby.